And as ridiculous as this sounds, many people think this is indeed a possibility. Like Elon Musk, for example, he believes that this is very, very possible. Think of it this way. We started off with the video game Pong. You remember the white lines on either side of the screen and the dot in the middle, and you have to hit it between the two lines, like a little bit like tennis. A very basic computer game that was invented. Like I said, that was one of the first games that was ever invented, and today it's nowhere near as impressive as the games that we have now, that are so much more impressive and almost photorealistic. A good example, I think, is the Grand Theft Auto games, which has a fully simulated working world. Or should I say city, as a fully working simulated city. You have weather, you have traffic, you have a train service, you have the airport, you have computerized people who seem to be going about their day. Now, when you think about it, the city that they've created, it's a fully working city on a basic format compared to what we know ourselves in our reality, but for all intents and purposes, this is a fully working city in the game. Now, just imagine what that game will be like in the years to come when we get better graphics, cleverer AI, etc., etc. It will look very, very real with even better photorealistic images. And some believe that one day it could be possible that the characters in the game could become self-aware. And possibly when our programs get so advanced and the simulated people in the game actually get to the point one day where they actually make their own simulated universe within the simulated universe that we created for them. So let's get back to the Mandela effect. If we are indeed living inside a simulated universe that is controlled by some higher power, like we said earlier, could the Mandela effect be explained by computer updates in the system or system restore points like a PC, or simply someone either simply changing some code or hacking the system, creating these false memories in our world? It could also be possible that our simulated universe has received a virus, and that's what's causing the Mandela effect. It's a little bit matrixy, this, so let's move on from the simulated universe and talk about some of the more rational explanations for the Mandela effect, which I think I'm probably swaying towards. Don't get me wrong, I like the idea of a simulated universe. I like the idea of time travel. I like the idea of multiple universes. They are a little bit far-fetched, but they're so much fun to have those theories. However, there is a more rational explanation, and this explanation is probably the simplest one of all. And it involves the brain, and maybe simple was the wrong choice of words because there is nothing simple about the human mind. When it comes down to it, the human memory is just plain unreliable. When memories are stored in the brain and then recalled, let's say years later, sometimes there may be certain information missing, and it's believed the brain tries to fill in that gap with a false memory. Your brain just fills in that empty gap. It makes something up. It's been suggested that when a memory is recalled, it is possible that other similar memories are also brought forward and mixed in together, creating a new memory that didn't happen how you remember it. This is called confabulation, which can be caused by brain damage and neurological problems, although it is entirely possible for perfectly healthy people to confabulate as well. But that only explains why one individual person would experience these false memories. One explanation as to why the Mandela effect affects so many people is put down to the power of suggestion, to believe something that other people claim to be true. Or maybe the question is asked in a certain way that sways you towards a certain answer that your brain convinces you is the right choice. And there you have it. There is the rational explanation behind the Mandela effect if you don't buy into all the time travel, simulated universe and multiple universes theories that are out there that are perhaps a little bit too far-fetched for some people to take. But like I said, it is fun to think about it. Now, as I was researching this episode, I did make a post on the Facebook group, Bizarre Podcast Facebook group, and I asked if any of the members had ever experienced the Mandela effect personally, whether they'd actually had any personal stories to tell, if they recall any memories that others swore just didn't happen. And you was all fantastic, and you very kindly responded and told me some of your stories. So I thought I'd share some of them now. So here is the first message that I received. I have a memory, a very vague one, from when I was very young, and I had a baby bottle full of hot tea. or Horlicks. I vividly remember biting the teat off the bottle, splashing myself with the hot liquid, burning my face. Obviously not hot enough to scar, but hot enough to shock a young child. Although, when I retell this story to my mother says that this never happened. She said I did indeed bite the teat off, but the bottle was filled with cold orange juice. Although I am convinced that the liquid in the bottle was either tea or Horlicks, and I remember vividly it was hot to the touch, especially when it splashed on my face. Another lady messaged me who claims that she's been affected by the Mandela effect for almost 33 years. She said that her friend's son died 2 times that she can remember. Other friends went on vacation to the US for the first time, twice that she can remember. She remembers Nelson Mandela dying 3 times. She remembers Gene Wilder dying 3 times. She remembers many other celebrities who died a couple of times. She remembers her great aunt who died 2 times. Then her mother's maiden name changed over and over again. And she says that she's had many more experiences over the years as well. Here's another message I received off Aaron Ellis. He recalls how he once helped an older gentleman in 2008 pull down a dilapidated single-storey home, and it took about 4 days with a front loader to do so. Now, as he said, that was back in 2008, but he also goes on to say that recently he drove past where the house used to be, only to find that it is back there as it was before he pulled it down, still dilapidated, still a very old house, and he swears it is the exact same house that he pulled down that day in 2008, and he can't explain how it is back there again. He then goes on to mention how he has a very vivid memory of the Statue of Liberty being built on Ellis Island and not on Liberty Island, which is very interesting to me because I had a separate message off a lady who has the exact same story, more or less. Here it is. She says, I asked my niece where the Statue of Liberty was because I knew she had climbed it. She told me Ellis Island, and she had climbed it to the flame. When I said no, it's on Liberty Island, and was bombed during the First World War, and was unstable to climb to the flame, she corrected herself, and said that's right, it's Liberty Island. She started arguing with herself. I watched her memories change in front of my eyes. It was bizarre. That about brings us to the end of the episode. So what do you think? Is the Mandela effect just simply the mind playing tricks on us by filling in the gaps with false memories? Or are we actually remembering an alternate timeline, an alternate universe merging with our own? Or do you think it's possible that we are all part of a very advanced simulation created by some higher power, and there's a glitch in the matrix that we all call the Mandela effect? As always, I'll let you decide. I'll see you next time.